Welcome back to the channel, guys. I am Heather Hope Reed, the Millionaire Manifester and your manifestation coach. Today we are going to talk about robotic affirming. Okay, so I'm sure if you're anywhere on the internet, you're hearing all about it from just about every coach is talking about it, has been talking about it for a while. And I just got the idea today to go ahead and talk about it because it's something that I've been doing for quite some time. And I guess I didn't realize I was doing it until I heard there was a name for it. So let's get into it. If you don't know what robotic affirming is, it is when you decide on a manifestation that you want to focus on. So you decide on something and you create typically 1 to 2 affirmations. Typically it's one to robotically affirm. And you take that one affirmation, say it's money. It could be anything. But let's say it's money. And like the classic one I've talked about a lot in the past is I make $1,000 a day. So that would be something I would repeat. I have done that for quite some time. But I would repeat, or you would repeat that I make $1,000 a day. You would repeat that either in your head or out loud over and over and over and over and over again. And that's robotic affirming. So it's just, you just keep repeating it in your mind or out loud or both. I do a combination of both during a session. So what you would do is you can decide to put some time aside, like maybe in the morning, typically in the morning and throughout the day as well, to use a timer on your phone or a timer somewhere, and you can do some focused robotic affirming. So you could do like 10 minutes, let's say, or I have affirmations in the morning for my business that I have 7 affirmations. I wrote them down to, for the things that I currently want to experience in my business. And so every morning after I do some scripting about something else and some writing in my journal of general stuff, then I go to these 7 affirmations and I take out my phone and I click start on my 1-minute timer. And so I do 1 minute of robotic affirming for each affirmation. So that's 7 minutes. So I do that 1 to 2 times a day. Usually later on during the day, I'll do it again. And these are things that I don't necessarily need to spend a lot of time on because I've had a lot of success in the past by just affirming something a few times. Because the thing is, and I'll get to the point of why we're doing robotic affirming, but you are very powerful. You're much more powerful than you understand. I mean, we're more powerful than I can understand. So everybody is powerful, and what you think and what you claim and decide and declare is because you're so powerful. You're the creator of your reality. You've heard that over and over and over. What does that mean? You decide what is true for you. And so if you want to go deeper into these concepts and into this and get a lot of support from me, I have coaching available. I have 2 memberships. One is on business and money and one is on overall manifestation. And then I also have private coaching. But you are powerful, and what you say goes. So you can say something once and it can happen. It can happen if you don't doubt it. It'll happen a lot quicker if you don't doubt it. So a lot of times, I just say something one time and it happens. Now, I was sitting here a little while ago because this comes up a lot I've said many things just once. Like I'll say something. I've done this with some people of saying that they were going to go find a job somewhere else. I've been sharing this in my membership calls, And a week or two later, I find out that they got a job somewhere else. And I sat here and I thought, I only had to say that once. It's just me changing the story of my reality. But then I thought, well, what if I had robotically affirmed it for a day? Would I have found out quicker? It's not something that's in my reality, like in my face. It's something I would have had to hear about at some point. Could it been could it have happened quicker? Probably. But some of these things don't matter. Like, it doesn't matter to me if something happens or not. So I can say it one time and then I find out that it happened. I do this all the time. So let's talk about robotic affirming though. And I'm going to give you some examples of how I've used it and the successes that I have on just a few times, or not a few times, but with a few examples. So I've been using it or doing this for at least a couple of years now, if not longer, actually. Back a couple of years ago, before I moved to California, I kept driving back and forth to and from California. And if there was traffic, I would start saying things like go, 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 things like that. Or I would say for the traffic, and I remember I would always like kept pointing my finger to the cars in front of me, like go, 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 that sort of thing. That's robotic affirming. And when I would do that, the traffic would move. Or I would say move, like move, move, move. Or I would start saying stuff like, I'm not stopping this car. I know people don't like the word not. I do. It works for me. It works for a lot of people. You can use it. If you ever hear anybody tell you rules of things, test it out yourself. That's how you're going to know what is true and what's not. Always test what people tell you. Test what I'm telling you. Test it out, because what you don't want to do is ever take on other people's rules when it's not necessary. You create the rules of your reality, period. It's your reality. Whatever you say goes. Whatever you say works will work. When you say that something doesn't work, it doesn't work. You're the power of your reality. You are the only thing deciding in your reality. Okay. So the other day, this is an example that I've been talking about lately. The other day, my dog was sick all night long. He had diarrhea and he was throwing up for hours, on and off. And he was sleeping on the floor, trying to sleep on the floor. He always is sleeping on the bed, cuddled next to me. That's where he sleeps. So I woke up a few times, cleaned up his mess, went back to bed. I kept waking up because he kept waking up. So anyway, later on, it approaches like 1 p.m. And this has been going on since 12, midnight. And he hadn't been getting sick, but he's just been laying on the floor, just kind of like he was coherent. He was looking at me and stuff, but you can tell that he still wasn't feeling well. Plus he was still on the floor. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to start affirming for this because he needs to get better. So I went over to my bed. I just laid on my bed and I opened up a game on my phone and I started affirming 2 words. And that was Gizmo's healthy, Gizmo's healthy, Gizmo's healthy. And I robotically thought it in my head and just kind of whispered it a little bit. My husband was in bed with me too. And so I was just playing my game, robotically affirming Gizmo's healthy. And so within 10 minutes of affirming that, I heard him walk around. I'm like, okay, so there's movement, literal movement in front of me. I'm like, cool, he's moving around. Okay, great. So I kept going. I just kept affirming, Gizmo's healthy, Gizmo's healthy. And 10 minutes later, so that's 20 minutes in, he jumped on the bed and he curled up next to Roger, my husband. And I'm like, oh my gosh, so awesome. So I kept going. And when I started this, I didn't have any time in my mind. I just felt like I'm going to do this and he's going to get better because he needs to get better. And so I affirmed 10 more minutes. And that's when he got up and he was just looking at me and he looked completely healthy and he was hungry and he wanted to eat. So he was back to normal. So within 30 minutes of affirming, he got completely better and he was better. He's been better ever since. So how I see things with robotic affirming, like I go by what Bashar tells us, an idea that Bashar tells us about our reality shifting billions of times a second. And so how I see robotic affirming is that we're shifting. So we're shifting based upon where we're focused, like focused in our thoughts primarily. And so when we're repeating the same thing over and over, we're shifting more and more and more and more and more into that reality. And so it's just like any other manifestation, teachers like Abraham Hicks telling us to line up, to, get into alignment with what we want, with our desire. And being in alignment with what we desire is having the thoughts in that direction instead of, the other way, instead of like, no, I'm not going to get it. I don't think I can, blah, blah, blah. No, it's like, no, this is what I'm getting. I love it, whatever, right? So robotic affirming to me is it's moving me into the reality where that is the reality, whatever it is that I'm focused on. And it moves me faster than had I said Gizmo's healthy and said it one time. Here's the thing, had I just said it one time, would I have believed it? Not yet. Now, I know I'm powerful, but I'm still got this human brain or human side of myself to still continue to look at my dog and be worried, right? So if we can say something one time and it can manifest, if we can stay off the subject. It happens all the time. We do it constantly. If we say something or think something one time, it can manifest. If you stay off the subject, if you just like move on and don't worry or fear or wonder how it's going to happen or try to figure out how to manifest it, you know what I mean? If you can stay off of it. So I use a robotic affirming daily, but I guess I didn't realize I've been using it for years and for different things like traffic or turning left. Like I would say, I learned this many, many years ago of how to turn left, when you don't have a light or, and you have to have the traffic stop for you, basically, like you're no traffic so you can turn left. So I would say it's clear, it's clear, it's clear, it's clear, it's clear, it's clear, just as I'm sitting there waiting, for the traffic to clear, and it does clear very quickly. So you can do that with anything. Instead of like trying to make a left turn, you say, oh, I can never get out of here, right? Check those thoughts. I can never make a left-hand turn. There's always too much traffic, blah, blah, blah. Remember, you are creating your reality with every thought that you're having. And the more thoughts that you're having towards something is what you are cementing into your reality. So instead of saying it's always so busy, there's too much traffic, there's people everywhere, whatever, you say it's clear, it's clear, it's clear, it's clear. And, I think it just soothes me during that time. So I don't focus on the opposite. Like, oh, it's clear. And then I'm continually looking at traffic heading my way, thinking the traffic is not clearing, right? I hear this from clients. I hear it all over the place of people saying it's not here yet. It's not happening yet because they're looking at reality and they're saying it's not here yet. And the thing is, like, when I do this daily, I make left-hand turns. Just as an example, I do this daily. a couple times a day because I take my husband to work and I make a left-hand turn. I do it on purpose because it just seems to be easier to make a left-hand turn out of his parking lot. That if I'm saying it's clear, and I am looking at both sides of the traffic, and I don't want to say waiting, but I am I am searching for it to be clear. Does that make sense? Instead of like, see, there's more traffic. Now I'm human. I hate saying that, but there are times that I will get frustrated because I'm not perfect with manifestation, and be like, I'll have moments where I'm like, God, these people are annoying me, or there's too much traffic or something. And then I come back to my senses and be like, no, it's clear. It's going to be clear. It's going to be clear. Occasionally, I just give up and make a right-hand turn. It's happened. If my frustration level is too high and I'm just not feeling like, because there's certain times of the day, right, that are so congested that I'm like, oh, this is just, I don't even want to deal with it today. Let's just make a right-hand turn and turn around. But when I'm saying it's clear, I look to one side and I'm like searching for it to be clear, and I see it. I'm looking for it to be clear, and I'll see it. And that is from, of course it's going to be clear. You know what I mean? There's past evidence that it'll always be clear at some point, right? Traffic is not always never ending. So anyway, as an example, you just keep thinking that thought instead of like, I can't get out of here, it's too busy, blah, blah, blah. You're the one in command of your reality. You're the one who says what is. So when you are there and you need to make a left-hand turn, you say it's clear. And you just keep saying it until it happens. And you do that with everything. So you can do it in the moment, or you do it for the things that you desire. So like the affirmations I have in the morning, one of them, which I've shared many, many times in the past, I have millions of followers, right, on Facebook. Well, when I first started saying that about a couple years ago, under 2 years ago, I said I had millions of followers, or I had 1 million followers, I said at the time. I was under 10,000 followers at the time, but within about 3 months of saying that, just a handful of times, which was maybe maybe like 20 times in a day, I said it. I grew from, I know it was under 10,000 to like 40,000. And right now we're at 55,000, but my page grows every time that I affirm that. So I affirm it for a minute because it's not something that I am heavily focused on. Saying that I have 1 million followers, it's putting the fuel on my page to have my page grow. It's not something that is of high importance, but it's something that I focus on. So it's me just putting that focus on. And then, a money affirmation, and then I have several other affirmations for my business. So I do those for a minute, but I have other affirmations, other things that I have been manifesting that I will robotically affirm throughout the day when I feel like it. So it truly works wonders. It really does. If it didn't, I wouldn't be doing it. I know sometimes it can seem like it's a lot, but you don't have to think that it's a lot. We are already thinking a lot, and a lot of times people are thinking the negative and worry quite a lot. So we're just reversing that, and we're putting it into high gear to change our realities quicker. And I truly believe that robotic affirming changes our realities very quickly. A lot quicker than just saying something one time. I do have another video on my channel. I think it's called Manifest Millions in Days, or in 3 days or something. That is a success story that I spoke to a girl who manifested millions of dollars. by robotically affirming that she had millions of dollars. It's all in the video. I will attach it to the screen so you can go watch that one. But she did robotic affirming, I believe 5 times a day for 15 to 20 minutes each time. And she manifested $3.2 million within 3 days. So it really does work. Works wonders. So I highly suggest trying it. At first, maybe you can use umbrella affirmations like my life is amazing. Everything's always working out for me. My world takes care of me. Things like that can be very easily like broad, and it makes you feel really good too. Instead of like jumping into a money goal or something like that, try it out with something to make you feel good and that you can benefit from in your reality. That would be really cool. Or something, more like insignificant that you can manifest to test it out. Okay, guys, I'm going to pin that video so you can go watch that one. But if you want coaching, go to themillionairemanifester.com and you can get coaching with me. And until next time, see you later, guys.